about a great book you will want to pick up. Are the likes of Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, and Britney Spears influencing young girls in the wrong way? Well, I would say yeah, but Audrey Brashich has written a book about how you can talk to your kids about these influences and get them going in the right direction with the right role model.
It's a great book. Hello everyone, welcome back to Urban Rush. You know, anyone who has a child at home, specifically sometimes a female child at home, knows the struggle of trying to allow them to be exposed to pop culture, yet at the same time educating them on what it is to have good self-esteem.
In the day and age of the Paris Hiltons and the Lindsay Lohans, who should young girls look up to and what should they think about all of this? Here to tell us a little bit more is Audrey Brashich. She's the author of All Made Up, which examines, well, our idols. I guess you can call them that.
Hi, Audrey. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Now, Audrey, the first thing I maybe want to ask is that you come at this from really sort of a professional standpoint. You've been working at fashion magazines for a very long time. You're a formal model. So what made you like this?
I answered about 1 million too many letters from teen girls who would write into the major magazines in New York saying, I'd give anything to be a celebrity, a model, a superstar. Here's my photo of me from class. Here's my snapshot in the backyard of my bikini. Exactly. And when I looked at all of those letters and then thought of myself when I had been their age at 15, 14, and how badly I thought if I could just be a model, like my life would be different, it started me thinking that all of that influence is coming from someplace. And it made me start questioning not whether or not modeling and celebrity is good or bad, but why it has so much status and what happens when...
It's true, because not only are these women idolized, whether you're talking about models or celebrities or reality stars, they're financially compensated for it, and they have all the clothes, and they have all the fame, yet girls don't idolize doctors or lawyers or that sort of thing anymore, which is so sad.
Because when you start from such a young age, seeing in the media, television, magazines, whatever it is, that who gets the notice, the money, the salaries, all of that is sort of showered on these women who have the right look and label. And I think from a really early age that younger girls can start to get derailed from maybe their own interests because they start to think, well, I could be an astrophysicist or I could be something that's going to make the $1 million salaries. So it's pretty easy, sort of almost subconsciously, to get on that path.
Especially in a day and age where some of the celebrities out there are famous for being infamous, and Paris Hilton is first and foremost. I mean,
where's the talent?
Her name became a household name when she made a porno movie and it got leaked on the internet. Yet she is in all the magazines that the young girls look at because she's used for guest ads, she's used for various things. What are young girls supposed to make, or what do they make of someone like Paris Hilton? Do they really want to be like her?
I think at this point, some of them do. And the problem is, if you look at it sort of as like a slice of a pie, what they see is the celebrities or stars that are in that slice. And my question is, like, what's outside that frame? Where's everybody else that should be celebrated for their accomplishments, their talents, besides just fitting this look? And that's what we don't see, because there's just not room.
Well, and the really interesting thing, I think, about your book in a lot of ways is that you talk about how those decisions are made, because that information is what helps parents or teens themselves inform themselves as to, you know, this is really sort of a big publicity machine. This is how it works. How popular is that making you in the actual profession that you pursue?
Well, you know, it's not really a problem, because what I talk about in the book is the way things happen for a star, etc. So it's not a coincidence when, you know, your favorite new singer is also on the cover of every magazine the same month her CD is coming out, that sort of thing. And you know, that's no big secret that there's lots of coordination to sort of make it seem cool and make it seem...
And yet no one talks to the kids about this. Or very few people talk to their children about how that process actually works, that they have so much influence and they see all this stuff.
And that's why I think it's important for girls to know that it's just not by chance that there's a lot of orchestration going on to get you to think what's cool or to get you to know about something that's coming out
right now. And what I love about the book, and I mean, it is for, I guess, 11 to 16-year-olds about, is at the end of every chapter, you have a few questions that you pose to the reader, but also you encourage them to go online to discuss this sort of thing, so they discuss things with a little bit of knowledge.
The thing is, for the girls, for teenagers especially, I think a lot of them think about some of these issues and don't realize the girl next to them is probably thinking about them too.
Right.
And so the goal with the blog, which is on my website, is for them to go and say like, oh wow, there are other girls that have felt bad about their bodies after looking at something but not known what to do, or didn't know what to do when their boyfriend kept saying like, oh gosh, all I want to do is date someone who looks like a model, that they can read that other girls have dealt with those and maybe get some ideas about what to do themselves.
And that is the age where lots of young girls start to get body dysmorphia or eating disorders, and when they're looking up to women who can afford personal trainers, nutritionists,
We have a picture of Kate Hudson.
Kids don't know this. Maybe you can talk about Kate Hudson a little bit and tell us why you chose this photo as a point of discussion.
Well, this piece ran in one of the gossip magazines that you can pick up at any grocery store, etc. And it was from about 2 years ago after she had her baby. And if you read some of the text, it starts talking about how she works out 3 times a day, and she lost 75 pounds. And when I read that, I was just so surprised that there was no context to say, well, maybe that's a problem that someone is working out 3 times a day.
It's congratulating her.
It's congratulating her. It's giving her press for it. Whereas experts in eating disorders and medical doctors would say that that's a sign of an eating disorder or a problem. And yet in the magazine, just shows up as sort of almost like an idea. How to lose 75 pounds.
Hey, wouldn't this be a nice reality for you if you could work out or should work out 3 times a day?
And of course, the part, as you said, that's missing is how much her trainer costs, whether the movie studios were paying for it, how much time she has on her hands, the nanny that was taking care of the baby, all of that.
It's not a real world.
It's not. And when you're 14 or 15, you're not thinking about all of those other things that are sort of left out of the picture.
Well, I'm amazed, having read it, and when I was reading it, how few times people have written about this before. Like, there really wasn't a great body of work, and yet there are all these resources. I mean, you don't just talk about the blog on your site, but there's magazines that are that counter some of this and are sort of fighting back a little bit.
They're out there. They're just sometimes harder to find because they don't have the big budget to get them, to the front of the newsstand or whatever it is, or they don't have the ads that give them enough money to have a big ad campaign. There's some suggestions in the back of the book, and they're also on my website, and I think it's a great idea for parents or teachers or older sisters to sort of introduce them to those things, because then they're going to be the cool parents who showed them something different, because they're new.
And then they show their friends, and they're the cool kid for showing their friends something different. Very nice.
Thank you so much, Audrey. It is a great book if you want to pick it up. It is called All Made Up, A Girl's Guide to Seeing Through Celebrity Hype and Celebrating Real Beauty.
There it is.